Before I tell you this story, let me ask you something. Have you ever seen someone's true face revealed in the most unexpected moment? Well, stay with me until the end because what happened in this millionaire's house will leave you absolutely speechless. And hey, if you enjoy powerful stories that touch the heart and open your eyes, make sure you hit that like button right now and subscribe to our channel so you never miss the next life-changing story. In the heart of the city stood a mansion of glass and marble that almost seemed to pierce the sky. It belonged to Alexander Grant, a man known not only for his immense wealth but also for his humility and kindness. Despite being a millionaire, Alexander never flaunted his fortune, preferring instead to treat everyone around him with respect, whether they were business partners in designer suits or the gardeners who trimmed the roses outside his estate. His parents had raised him with a simple principle: wealth may buy comfort, but character defines a man. And so, when he found love with Vanessa, a woman of striking beauty and social charm, Alexander believed he had finally discovered someone who shared his values. Vanessa was elegant, graceful, and knew exactly how to win hearts in public. She carried herself like a queen, always dressed in the latest fashion, her hair styled to perfection, her words sweet as honey whenever Alexander introduced her to his colleagues or friends. Everyone said she was the perfect match for him. Yet, what no one knew was that behind the perfectly painted smile lay a heart that valued status above all else. She adored Alexander, but not for his kindness or compassion, for his wealth, his name, his influence. Working quietly in the background of this glamorous life was a young woman named Maria. She was the maid who kept the house spotless, ensuring the mansion shone as brightly as Alexander's reputation. Maria was in her early 20s, soft-spoken and humble. Life had not been kind to her. She came from a poor background, having lost her parents at a young age. But she carried herself with quiet dignity, never complaining, always doing her duties with care. Alexander had hired her not because he needed staff, he already had plenty, but because he had seen her struggling one rainy night, selling flowers on the street to feed her younger siblings. Touched by her story, he had offered her a job, determined to give her a chance at stability. Vanessa, however, never liked Maria. She saw her as nothing more than a servant, someone far beneath her, someone unworthy of even existing in the same room as her. Though Alexander always treated Maria with respect, Vanessa made sure to remind the girl of her place every chance she got. She would throw cruel remarks, criticize her work unfairly, and sometimes demand ridiculous tasks just to watch her struggle. Maria never defended herself, silently enduring the insults for the sake of keeping her job and supporting her family. One evening, the grand mansion buzzed with activity. Alexander had planned a small dinner with close friends and business associates, a gathering that was meant to be elegant yet intimate. The long dining table gleamed under the chandelier, silverware polished to perfection, flowers arranged with meticulous care. Maria, as always, had been the one working tirelessly behind the scenes to ensure everything looked flawless. She had skipped her own dinner to prepare the feast, her hands trembling from exhaustion yet her spirit never wavering. As the guests arrived, Vanessa played her role flawlessly, welcoming everyone with charm and grace. She wore a glittering gown that caught the light with every step, her laughter echoing like music through the halls. To the world, she was the perfect hostess, but her eyes constantly darted toward Maria, who moved quietly in the background, refilling glasses, adjusting dishes, and making sure no one lacked anything. It was near the end of dinner when the moment unfolded that would change everything. One of Alexander's influential friends accidentally spilled wine on his suit, and Maria quickly hurried forward with a napkin to assist. She bent down politely, blotting the stain with gentle care. But Vanessa, seeing the attention shift toward Maria even for a moment, felt her pride flare with anger. Her smile faded, and without warning, she snapped. "Are you completely useless, Maria?" Vanessa's voice rang out sharply across the table, silencing the room. "Can't you even clean properly? Look at the mess you're making." Maria froze, her hands trembling, eyes wide with humiliation as the guests turned to look. Her cheeks burned red, but she said nothing, lowering her head. She had done nothing wrong. In fact, she had been helping, but Vanessa's cruel words cut through her like a knife. Vanessa wasn't done. She stood, towering over Maria, her voice dripping with venom. "I don't even know why Alexander keeps someone like you in this house. You're clumsy, uneducated, and nothing but a burden. People like you don't belong here. You belong back on the streets where you came from." Gasps filled the room. Some guests exchanged uneasy glances while others shifted uncomfortably in their seats. They couldn't believe the cruelty spilling from Vanessa's mouth. Maria's eyes welled with tears, but she kept her composure, whispering a soft apology even though she had done nothing wrong. And then something unexpected happened. At that exact moment, Alexander, who had stepped away to take a business call, re-entered the dining hall. His sharp eyes took in the scene instantly, Maria trembling with humiliation, the guests frozen in shock, and Vanessa standing tall with a twisted smile of satisfaction. "Vanessa," his voice was calm but carried the weight of a storm, "what exactly do you think you're doing?" The room fell into silence so thick it was as if time itself had stopped. Vanessa turned to him, her confident facade faltering. "Darling, I was just—" But Alexander's gaze was unwavering, his jaw set with disappointment and anger. "Enough," he said firmly. He walked toward Maria, gently taking the napkin from her trembling hands and helping the guest himself. Then, placing a protective arm around Maria's shoulders, he spoke words that stunned everyone present. "Maria is not a burden, she is family, and anyone who dares to treat her otherwise does not belong in my life." The air crackled with tension. Vanessa's face drained of color as the weight of his words sank in. The guests whispered among themselves, shocked at what they had just witnessed. Maria stood frozen, unable to comprehend the kindness being shown to her in the face of such cruelty. And in that moment, Alexander realized the woman he thought he loved had revealed her true nature, and it was nothing like the values he held dear. To be continued, the room was silent, every guest waiting to see Alexander's next move. Vanessa tried to laugh it off, stammering excuses about being misunderstood, but the mask had already fallen. Alexander looked at her with eyes filled not with anger but with disappointment. "Vanessa," he said firmly, "wealth and beauty mean nothing if the heart is cruel. Tonight you've shown me who you truly are, and I cannot marry someone who humiliates others to feel superior." Gasps spread around the table. Vanessa's face twisted in shock, but Alexander didn't flinch. He turned instead to Maria, who stood trembling. "From this day forward, you will never be treated as less than anyone in this house." Tears filled Maria's eyes as the guests applauded softly, touched by his words. Vanessa stormed out, her pride shattered. And in that moment, Alexander knew he had lost nothing but gained the truth.